My next guest is someone I found on Instagram who I loved. And she is truly disrupting ageist stereotypes. This is what I love about her. And you can see her compassion, her curiosity, and her drive to change the current view of society on aging through her photographs and her stories. And DENISE BOOMKENS is a professional photographer. She is incredibly creative. She's an artist and a creator, and I'm not sure she would define herself that way, but that's what I see. And in her 20s, she started out as an international fashion model who traveled the globe and delved into the world of beauty and fashion. She traveled from Tokyo to New York, loving every minute of her jet set life, and took photographs of the amazing people she encountered. And now in her 40s, she decided to create AndBloom. And this is supposed to be an age positive community where she photographs women over 50 who are beautiful, real women, to capture this amazing journey of aging. And she has a following of over 270,000 really engaged bloomers on Instagram. And her mission is to showcase more aging women in the media to inspire and motivate women to age unapologetically. That is with confidence and pride in a modern, positive, and fashionable way. Now, DENISE is going to share with us how she ages unapologetically and how we can too. So without further ado, meet Dee. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. You already said everything, so this is really great intro. Thanks.
Oh, and your photographs say it all too, I have to say. Anybody, I really encourage everybody to go right now to that Instagram. And I'll have all the links and everything to you in the show notes. So you do share your story on your website, but if you can, please share with us now how you decided to create the digital happy place for women over 40.
Yeah. Well, as you said in your intro, I started off my career as a fashion model, which I did with lots of fun and love and a passion. And when I hit 25, I was considered old in that business. So I thought I have to do something else because, 25 is old. I'm starting to get wrinkles. So there already started the whole sort of consciousness about aging started at that age. And I went to the art academy. I became a photographer. And although I didn't plan to go into fashion again, I became a fashion photographer. And I worked in that business for another 12 years, totally conscious about the beauty of women because I only photographed women, perfection, outside appearance. So I went from a modeling career into a fashion photographer career. And then I started to get scared of aging. So every year the 40 came closer. I was like, oh, I'm getting old and old and old. I was really sort of obsessed by that feeling. And then there was the fertility problem. I wanted to have children, and because of my endometriosis, it was really hard to conceive. And I sought help. I went to the hospital, had several treatments, and also there I was considered old. My eggs were old. Everything was old about me. And
geriatric pregnancy, I think after 35 or something.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, this whole thing around me was like, you're old. Okay. And I got pregnant at 39, had my son at 40, and turned 40 without any problems, of course, because you just age, have your birthday and then you're 1 year older. And I threw my camera in the closet because I really wanted to spend time with my son. And then when I turned 42, my eyes started to open again. And I thought, okay, what's next? So what am I going to do now? I'm in my 40s. I feel the same as I felt when I was 37 or 38. And I wanted to be inspired again because, I'm very creative, but I love the inspiration of people, art, countries, religion, everything is inspiring me to be an artist, as you say. And I went online and I went, to the library. I went on television. I went to look for, documentaries of women to show me how life is in your 40s and in your 50s and in your 60s. And I couldn't find it. And this was about 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And also on Instagram, there was very little inspiration. And I thought, okay, I have to change something about that. That's just so wrong, because turning 40 wasn't as bad as I thought. I was starting to feel more confident, really happy with myself. All these insecurities that I had when I was in my 20s or 30s were leaving me. And I thought, but this is a great, great phase. Why don't I see these women in the media?
Yes, I'm so glad you decided to make that choice, because anybody who knows me and follows me knows that I'm always trying to disrupt ageist stereotypes. And you're helping along. I can't do it by myself. We need a tribe. We need women over their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s to show what it is. And I don't like this, 60 is the new 40 stuff. Like, no, just show how amazing 60 is and call it 60. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
So I'm glad you're really showcasing this, and your Instagram is just absolutely beautiful. These women are just amazing. And the stories that go with it. I love how you pin the little story to it. And, but you're showing what it means to age unapologetically. And I'd like you to explain what that means for you.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems of our society is that women over 40 are sort of invisible. So if you have, if you never have examples to compare yourself with, then there's no inspiration. So aging unapologetically, to me, and that is what I'm trying to do with my portraits, is to show the world that it doesn't have to be so faded and put away, or doing steps behind, and become invisible. And I think it's very difficult for a lot of women to see themselves as beautiful and proud and still out there if there is no examples around to compare yourself with. So aging unapologetically, and that is what I'm trying to do with my portrait, is to show that makeup and hair and fashion and pride and confidence are all there to show the world. And this is what you just said. I had a lot of discussions in the first years of my AndBloom journey with women that would say, "Why do you mention her age? Why would you say that woman she's 60 and she's so beautiful? Why would you say she's 60?" And I'm like, okay, but I think you should say her age, because then you can really compare yourself. Or that is an example, like, she is 60. That is wonderful. I want to be like her when I am 60. Mm-hmm. And a lot of women are sort of, swiping away their age, and they are not being really proud of
transparent,
their age.
yeah,
transparent,
or proud,
and
also, proud. You're right,
and
yeah,
proud, yeah. And I think that aging unapologetically is really standing for who you are, but also the age that you have. Like, I am 47 and I am proud of my age, and I will be the same when I'm 57 or 67 or any age I will hopefully reach one day. And aging unapologetically also means that you can wear what you want if you feel good with that and confident with that. I think it's something you should show. So,
I love that, and I agree. I think I don't see age is really just a number. But it does inspire people who maybe like you and me, who go, okay, well, it could be scary, because of these negative stereotypes that we're seeing. It's ingrained into us that getting old is frail and feeble and sick and slow and dementia and wrinkles and ugly. And, this is not acceptable. I don't think and the problem is that we think all old people are like that, and older adults are just as diverse, if not more, than younger adults in that sense. So we do have this diversity. So I think that needs to be showcased. And that's what I like what you do, is because it is inspiring. It's showing the other side. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, older adults who are in this situation, but I'm saying that there are a lot of people who aren't as well. And for some reason, our brains want to focus on the negativity, and then that scares us. And then, it's not right. So thank you for highlighting that. And I do think, show the age, because it does give us quote unquote hope or inspiration or motivation or whatever. Because we go, I want to age like that. I wonder what she's doing. This is the way I look at it. I'm looking at, people like Joan McDonald, who's 74, 75, and she's so strong. And I like that strength in a woman, right? That's just me. Other people are beauty or fashion or sport or whatever. Yeah. So, but I like that you are inspiring for the beauty and the fashion. And I think that is something that some older women either embrace. So it's kind of, choose one camp. You embrace and you try to fight the wrinkles, and you try to do that, or you accept your wrinkles and your gray hair, and you say, I'm beautiful as is, and they're all acceptable. They're all valid. But I had this interesting discussion. I was on a panel talking about beauty and aging. And so I would love to hear your perspective in the sense is it important to take care of our beauty aspects or the way we dress? And how do you think that is related to aging?
I think it's not for everyone. I mean, everyone is free to age as they want. I know a lot of women that aren't wearing any makeup anymore because it's just, they don't want to, or it's easier, or they're comfortable with that. And I'm comfortable without makeup too. But I think it's nice to treat yourself. And if you have that wish to take care of yourself with fashion and beauty, then there's no limits. And it's not only about fashion and beauty, of course. I'm also very interested in women that start new careers after 40 and go back to university, have another child in their 40s or late 40s. I meet so many different women from all over the world that just made different choices in their 40s. And I think the fear of the youth and the younger women is mainly because of what you said, stereotype, sort of pictures of this is how you're going to live when you're over 40. And beauty, if you want to wear red lipstick when you're 80, I think it's fantastic. You don't have to, but you can. Same for hair, growing your hair, shaving your head off, bald. I don't, just do what you want, but don't have yourself pushed in the corner that, you have to go sort of, pale. I call it pale because gray is a beautiful color. There was a friend of mine called me 2 days ago, and she was on her way to a fair, women over 50 fair here in the Netherlands. And she's like, do you want to come? But I had a different appointment, so I couldn't come. It's like, I will send you pictures and videos from me being there. And I said, okay, good luck, because I already knew in my heart what it was going to look like. And she showed me some videos and pictures. And I was like, okay, this is why everyone fears to get older, because that is exactly the stereotype of women. They have this fair with fashion and beauty and, all these sort of books about aging. And it was all very pale and without color and without hope. It just really feels like you're rounding off your life, and that was it. So, get prepared for elderly home, or that's it. And it really makes me angry, because it's in reality, and for lots of women, maybe not for everyone, but for lots of women, it is not like that. It is not pale. It is very colorful and very wide and open and full of possibilities, different possibilities, but full of possibility. And I think we should really change our view on that that phase, because it's all about being young. And when you're young, you do this and you have this and you have that. But when you're older, there's plenty of things you can do. It's just different. And it's also about acceptance of that new stage of your life.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It is another stage, especially when, if you have the kids who are older and you're more free. I mean, imagine, being in the trenches when you have small kids, it's really hard to take care of yourself or do the things that you really want to do because you're focused on raising children. And so finally we have this moment and we have experience and wisdom, and wisdom doesn't always come with age, but you may have it. You can also be very young and very wise. That's true. But I think we don't, we certainly look at the outside a lot more than the actual inside of an older adult. And I'm a gerontologist, so we know through the research that people are making these assumptions when they see somebody, and it's just, we judge by the way they look, whether they're going to, they're smart or stupid or healthy or unhealthy. And in fact, we don't see so much that an older adult has inside. And it really is that experience that a younger person doesn't have. And we don't celebrate that enough. And unfortunately, we shove older adults to the side, and they're not, we need to integrate them into society. We need to see more of them, and we need to see more active older adults who are contributing to society, because we always have this assumption, oh, they're not going to contribute to society, they're just going to use all our health resources and done. Not true. Not true.
Not true. Yeah.
But it'd be interesting, based on that fair for women over 50, it would be interesting to see that. I can get an idea what it was about based on what you said. And it reminds me of a quote that you posted on your Instagram, where you said, in a society that profits from your self-doubt. And I imagine perhaps at that fair, they were playing on our self-doubt and trying to sell something to us, because I think we can be very vulnerable. And this is a big one for women as we age, especially in that midlife, right? We're making this transition. How do you, tell me a little bit about how you came across that quote and why you posted it.
Well, I think that all started with a post that I made, I think in the first year, where I went to the shop here in my village, and then tries to choose a new daycare facial cream. And, everything is screaming anti-aging, anti-wrinkle, anti-this, anti-that. And at one point, it just, it started to hurt me that everything is about taking away that what I am becoming, which is really, it's really hard. It's also unfair, because when you age, you get wrinkles and you start to go gray and stuff like that. Everything starts to hang and sag a little bit. And then you have to buy creams that promise certain kind of things, and they are never true. I mean, I never had a cream that took away my forehead wrinkles. If you have one, please let me know. But it's not there, and it's a fairy tale story that, of course, the whole beauty industry is trying to sell, and it's all about money, and that is where that quote came from. And I went to, because I couldn't go to the fair for the 50 plus women, I went to another presentation, a press presentation from a brand, beautiful, beautiful brand, Italian brand, skincare brand, and they do very nice organic products. But on their sales packaging, there's like anti-aging, and I'm sitting there, and they're trying to do a collaboration with me, and I tried their products, and they're really fabulous. But I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that, because there's no anti-aging. It doesn't exist. You can take care of your skin, or you can make it more healthy for healthy skin, healthy older skin, but you cannot anti-age name a product and sell it to women that are over 40. It's just impossible. And then the lady on the picture was 20, and that really annoys me. And I
hate that.
Yeah, it's just becomes really annoying, doesn't it? So yeah. That's it. So that's where that quote came from. And coming, I just wanted to step back to your previous story. When I was a fashion photographer, I am a very creative person and I loved my job so much, but I felt through the 12 years that I did that job, an emptiness growing inside of me more and more and more every year. I was like, okay, I'm now portraying a beautiful model, but it was just it was a shell, a mask, or an empty painting. And I have to tell you that when I started AndBloom, the first portraits, I felt like um, such a relief because the women in front of my camera, the ones that were in their 50s, also 40s, but more 50s and 60s, have a story. And that story, the story that they tell me, and also the story that you can read from their faces, has so much more depth than only the beautiful outside shell of younger women. And it's not to say that they are not interesting, but I think women in their older are just so much more interesting with their stories and with their signs of aging. So it's such a crap story to, wanting to smooth that all the way.
Mm. Yeah, no, it is there. That's what we don't see, whether you have remove all your wrinkles and dye your hair or whether you don't. We don't look at the story. That's what's kind of
Yeah.
annoying, right? We are, and maybe that's just our programming as human beings. We're programmed to see, we see and we see things before we actually hear them when we meet somebody. But we can feel people's energy. We can, eventually we'll get to know them. But I think the stories have to be told, and we have to embrace this, and we got to change these ageist stereotypes. And what do you see as the problem with ageist stereotypes?
Well, I think it's of course um, the youth obsessed society that is only promoting being young. And if you are only promoting that being young is good and fantastic and amazing, then of course, then there's the other side, and that is being old. And that being old already starts really early in life. If I speak to women, I have a lot of followers in their 30s, and they're like, I'm so happy that you're there because you are my future, and I am 32 and I already feel old. And it is really rough for women, I think, these days, because we are also living in a very modern time where most women that I know from, the Netherlands and Western society want to have a career, and they also want to have a good partner, but they also want to travel. And then in the end, they also want to have children. And altogether, it's really a lot to deal with. And then you shouldn't age. So somewhere in their 30s already starts to, go wrong in their brains also, because everything is about being young. You have to make your career and you have to, it's hard. It's really, really hard. And I am here trying to promote aging and trying to promote that second phase of life. And I'm not saying that it's better than being younger. It's just different. And there are certain kind of things that come with it, like physical changes and also physical pains or menopause or all these kind of things. But still, it can be approached in a very positive way, or in a way that it's accepted by society. And now it's just like stuffed under the table. And then we're not talking about it. Everything is a taboo. And that's hard, I think. And if it's something is a taboo and not spoken about, then it's scary for lots of people.
You're right. That's why we're talking about it. And aging is a privilege. You're lucky if you can get older, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It really is. It really is. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's something that we always go back and forth, where the beauty and the fashion and taking care of yourself and looking good. And then the other side is if, you embrace your wrinkles, embrace your gray hair, and that's fine too. There's a spectrum, it's a whole spectrum. And so, I think what you mentioned earlier is that as long as you're happy, I think that's where it really truly comes from. It doesn't really matter where you are in that spectrum, as long as you're happy. It's hard enough just to be happy, but you do what's making you truly happy. And that's where I think then it's beautiful to age. Whether you are doing your makeup every morning and you take care of your body and you exercise and you do all that, which is good for aging anyways. I'm always promote physical activity, just for those longevity, benefits, and you'll feel better too. But if you are happy, really, no makeup and not succumbing to those pressures of society, gosh, that's just, I wish I could be like that. And maybe I will one day. It's a life, I think, would be much easier. But right now it makes me happy, right? To do all the things I do. And so I think there is that happiness factor that really, really counts. Do what makes you happy. And then, I think aging will be so much easier, and you'll age unapologetically, right? You have that confidence.
Well, it also has to do with self-acceptance, right? You cannot hang on to something that is gone. And I think because of society promoting youth and being young, lots of women or lots of people, also men, are clinging on that. I want to stay there. And I think as soon as you accept the fact that some parts of your life are over and you are, transforming into someone else and, going into that next phase, I think that really helps for that happiness that you're talking about. Because if you're not in the right spot with yourself in your life, how can you be happy? And if you're not happy,
then no matter what age, it has nothing to do with age, right? Exactly. All the 20-year-olds are not happy. Okay. Now we look back on that and say, okay, what was I thinking?
Crazy, yeah? Yeah, exactly. When I look at pictures of myself when I was in my 20s, it's modeling. I mean, they're really beautiful pictures, and I felt horrible. I was so insecure, and I was like, oh, yeah, I feel much better now. It's crazy, huh? It's just like,
it is crazy. Yeah, I agree, but that's the way life is. And so that's why it's wonderful when you have younger people following you too, because then they do want to learn, and hopefully they're getting a message right now. Mm-hmm. So tell me about yourself in terms of how you feel about getting older, and what do you see yourself doing in your 70s, or what is it like, that experience for you?
It's crazy because I had so much respect for that big 40 that was coming when I was in my 30s, and I thought I would make this transformation into something that I never became. So it's hard for me to see myself in my 70s without seeing myself as I see myself today. So I think I'll still be the same creative person, although I can already tell, being 47, that my energy levels are changing. I mean, I have a 6-year-old, so he's very energetic and he takes a lot of my energy away. But I also have a body that is coping with endometriosis. I'm in perimenopause. So, all these things come together. But I think it's also just a phase, and then there's the end of the tunnel. You come out of that. And of course, I'll start to get older and maybe need more rest. But other than that, I see myself as a very artistic older lady wearing big colorful dresses and making, I don't know, my art. And hopefully in a country where the sun shines a little bit more than here in the Netherlands, because it's so rainy in the winter. So, but yeah, I see myself really active and happy. Yeah, old.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting to hear. So, everybody's got their number. Do you feel that, do you ever think about, I'd like to live till I'm 100, or I'd like to live till I'm 80? Do you ever think about that number?
I think it depends. I mean, my grandmother is still alive. She's 97, and she's still healthy, so that's good. I mean, it's all good when you're still sane and you're having a body that still wants to do something for you. but I know lots of women that get breast cancer or ovarian cancer, all these kinds of terrible diseases and die really young. I don't think there is really a hope or a wish other than that I wish to stay healthy and enjoy every day because it can be over tomorrow. So that's, yeah, I see that around me.
Oh, that's good. It sounds like you're in the moment,
Yeah, I
in the
try to be in the
present.
moment. Yeah, I do.
Oh, great. That's so then your website, I think everybody should go to, it's andbloom.com, and just AND Bloom. Tell me a little bit about that name. What does it mean? And Bloom.
It's I came up with this name because I wanted to create a name that would mean continue to bloom. So being a woman doesn't end. You don't end blooming, or you will not stop flowering when you hit a certain age. It was just something that I needed to say in a short name, and that's how I came up with And Bloom, because we do not stop blooming when we're 40 or 50. I mean, we stop blooming when we die, I think.
You're right, actually. And that kind of makes me feel that when we stop, for me, I study aging and longevity, and I think of the brain and learning and being part of society. And when you stop learning, to me, it's, you're not blooming,
Sure.
you're dying. And it's just, why should we think that we go to university and it's all done, or go to school and it's all done? You stop learning the day you graduate, and I think it's absolutely wrong. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to keep blooming. And I think it's a great name. So then the website itself and your Instagram as well focus on fashion and beauty and all things vintage. I love your vintage style. Where do you see aging women in the world of fashion and beauty, and where would you like that to go and look like in the future?
Well, I'm on this mission, and it annoys me terribly that I never see, or I hardly see, older women in campaigns, fashion campaigns, brands, beauty brands, and I write them, some brands, I write messages. And the reaction coming back, because they always react, of course, because I have a big following, but the reaction is often, we didn't really realize that we were not doing that. So I don't think it comes from a part that they're not willing to, but they just don't realize that they're excluding like a whole demographic. And that is really something that I think I should do more. I can tell from the 4 years ago that I started with this project till now, lots has changed. I mean, there's plenty of women now on Instagram that are over 40, 50, 60 and showing themselves, and that's all like really, really nice. But I think that's not enough. It's not enough that women over 40 are on Instagram. I think brands, important brands, on anti-aging creams should use women in their 40s and 50s for their campaigns. Fashion brands should not sporadically use an older model, but in every campaign, there should be at least a 40 or a 50 plus woman. And that is where I want to go. I want to go to a world where that is the example. And what also annoys me, and that is very personal, is that if they use someone, they are extremely beautiful for their age. And that is not fair too. I mean, body positivity is, of course, about the plus size women, but age positive should be about women that actually do have wrinkles and do have signs of aging. And I think if you give that a stage, and we as viewers see that on a regular basis, then it becomes normal. And that is what I'm trying to do with my mission, is to normalize not only aging, but also skin texture and also body changes, because almost all women I meet going through perimenopause and menopause lose their waistlines and become more square. And where's the fashion for that? Why not show the world that that is where we are all going? Well, not all, but most of women go to when they grow older. We do not keep our 20-year-old body. You know, it's just it's unfair to try to sell products on a 20-year-old. And
Mhm.
that is also where this confidence of wearing what you want to wear or being inspired by fashion stops for a lot of women because they don't have their examples. So yeah.
Exactly. We need more examples. I can hear the 60s and 70-year-olds who are listening to this podcast thinking, well, we too, yeah, we also want to be in those fashion. We need fashion as well. So it's,
Yeah.
it doesn't stop at 50s, right? We need our
No.
60s, we think 70s and 80s. And I don't know if you know, but nearly a quarter of the world population is a woman over 50. So
Exactly. Yeah.
any brand that's out there has certainly they're really missing the point if they're not catering to that audience. Okay. Or starting to rebrand or starting to come up with new products targeted to those people. And
Yeah.
yeah, so we do need to include that. And there is more, we need more diversity. I've seen in the US, not so much in Europe here, but when I went to the US, that mannequins that are showing clothes are having all different kinds of sizes and shapes, which that's pretty forward thinking. Maybe it'll take a while to get to Europe. But yeah, I think that's a good call. And I certainly hope that it does shift. And I think it'll have to, because what drives business is sales. And if the people who are older have more money than younger people, and there are more of them on the planet, then they're
Mm-hmm.
going to have to be catered to. So it's in everybody's interest, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But, I always urge women to stand up and show themselves, because lots of them feel that they're invisible and they're stepping back to make room for younger versions of themselves. And I totally understand, but we have to stop that. We have to stop being so modest and try to downgrade ourselves, because we have lots to be proud of, and that is not only the outside, but it's also the wisdom. I mean, there is a really big need for those wisdom muses, and we all go on Google for information and inspiration, but it's just so much easier to get an older friend and ask her for advice and how she did it in her life before. And that would be so much better than find it on Google and then run into campaigns like anti-aging and anti this and anti that.
Yeah. So that's a really good tip for women over 50 to change ageist stereotypes, is to stand up, find your voice. Do you have any other tips that we could give somebody who's listening right now?
Well, yeah, I always say get yourself some older friends, because they can tell you exactly how it is to grow older. And the women that I photographed along the way and I spoke with and interviewed, uh, they gave me so much hope, because most of them are confident and happy with their lives and who they are at this present moment. And yeah, of course, we all go through a phase. I mean, I think it's very normal to, I don't think it's to fear aging, but it's very normal to be conscious about your life, and that you are shifting from one phase to the next, and to go from young, very black and white, sad, from young to old, is saying goodbye to a part of your life, and then you're going to the next stage, which will end up that you die. And it's scary phase too, of course. And that realization of the end of your life does trigger something in your mind. And I don't even know where I was going with the story, but I think, well, never mind.
That's okay. We just wanted to get some tips, and that's, getting
Oh,
some
yeah,
older
that's it. Yeah,
friends.
yeah. So
Yeah.
getting some older friends and see that, the fear of aging isn't there. It's just, living your life and living a good life. Yeah,
But finding those positive friends, because like we mentioned
exactly.
earlier, there's a diversity with older adults. And if you
Yeah,
hit one that's negative and depressed and not happy the way they're aging, not taking care of themselves, and I don't know where you fall on the health and wellness spectrum, but I'm a firm believer that taking care of your health, you're not, and we've been talking a lot about mental health and well-being too, which is, having that
hmm,
confidence, and that's super important. But also taking your care of yourself physically will help so much more with that transition. And it's just the holistic approach. It's this wheel. You'll start, with one or the other, but it influences everything. If you start to
yeah,
exercise or just move a little bit more, or eating better foods that work better for you, then you'll probably have a better mental state. You'll probably have more self-confidence, and then you'll go out there and some amazing things
sure.
happen.
Yeah,
So, that kind of goes without saying. So find those friends, but those friends who are going to support you in your aging journey, and give you good advice, because we can get bad advice from older adults too, right?
of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The very negative ones. And as I was creating my project, I also had lots of women coming to me asking for help, saying, "Oh, I need to find some confidence. Can you portray me?" And I'd be like, "That is not what this is about. This is about creating a platform full of women that are actually age positive from the start. And I'm not here to make you an age positive person. I want to do that by showing what other women there are with my portraits." And so you're right. Yeah, there's lots of different women out there. I surround myself with age positive women, and my fear of aging is, well, 90% gone because of it.
Mm, that's great. That's really, really good. I'd like to hear that. So tell me, before we open the mic for the guests, I would like you to tell us a little bit about your book. And I didn't get a chance to see it, but you wrote a book, or is it a photography book?
Yeah, it's a portrait book. It was published last year, September. It's an English book. It was published in all English speaking countries. So it's also in the States, in Canada, Australia, and it's also translated in German. So it's a worldwide book, really nice. And the focus is on 100 women, age positive women, that all tell part of their aging story. And I was approached to make this book, which of course I said yes to. It's a little bit about myself. There's quotes inside, but it's mainly about the women that I portrayed. And it starts from women that just turned 40 to one lady that is actually, she was 100 back then when I portrayed her, and now she's 102. So she's
Hmm.
still alive and kicking. And it was a really nice journey to create this book, coming from women, Dutch women, but also Americans, African. They came from all over the world. So it was, yeah, it was a nice thing to do. Yeah.
Where can we find it?
Um, well, I don't want to promote any bookstores because it's being sold on many internet sites like Amazon, and you just have to Google the name, The Art of Aging Unapologetically, and then you will see my book, and you can buy it wherever you want.
Oh, it's
I'm
cool.
sold
Yeah.
out though. Yeah,
Oh,
the book on the website is sold out, so that's a really nice extra, but it's still being sold everywhere.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I want to get a hold of that because that's right up my alley. And so it's the art of aging unapologetically.
Yeah.
And we need more of those photographs. You need more inspiration, and you're doing it all. Before I open the mic, well, no, I'm going to open the mic now. Magdalena's always got some great questions. Let's hear from her.
Hello, girls. Hello, Denise.
Hi.
I'm very happy to
Hi.
see you live because I am your, how to say, fan since it might be from the beginning.
Really?
I love your
Okay.
stories, post it always with some, let me say, thought that we really, it got us and then we think about it. I love your photos. I'm also kind of, let me say, a photographer for a hobby. And I really love the composition of the photos, the colors, everything. The women you portrait, it's an amazing idea because this is something maybe a few years ago, 10 years ago, it would be maybe completely not accepted from society side. So I think that you are one of women, how to say, going through borders, you know, you are doing something well for the future women. And I agree completely with you, whatever you write, I agree. On the other side, I was working in the cosmetic business all of my life. And it's true what you said, we were selling dreams. In between, I was working 10 years for Christian Dior. We were really selling dreams. No, anti-aging cream will, how to say, will help us to get rid of wrinkles. We know this is not, this is absolutely not possible. But I don't like wrinkles. I can tell you honestly, I am 57 and I'm happy if I see there are certain procedures I can decide for, because as long as I can, how to say, I can go to the direction of more youthful appearance, I'm happy, but we are all different. And on the other side, I really support all other women which have different approach and would like to, how to say, getting older natural way, and admire all their wrinkles, because we're all different and everyone should do what, let me say, what makes her happy, if we are talking about the women. So on the question about, it's very good idea to find older women from us and to become friends and to maybe get another perspective. Now I'm already, you know, in this, let me say, role, because I have a lot of young friends around me. They are in their 20s, 30s, and we are really good friends. And let me say, maybe I can be somebody who can show them, tell them with my experience, wisdom, and they're very happy. On the other side, now I'm really thinking maybe I should be in the company, maybe with women who are 70, 80, to see what will happen in the next 10, 20, 30 years, because we all want to live as long as possible, but of course, healthy way. I completely agree with Zora when we are talking about healthy lifestyle, exercising, eating healthy, sleeping a lot, because this gives us possibility that we come there. And then on the other side, we can see that society starts to open also to these topics, because there are many women, many young, many old models. For example, the mother of Elon Musk, May Musk, she is still a model and she looks great. Then I know that there was a Carmen de Lorefice, I think she's 91 even. I'm not sure if she's still active, if she's still walking on the fashion shows, but she was a few years ago. And this is really something I think we can be very happy about. that things are changing and changing into the direction your profile tries to help to show. So I'm very happy to see you live and hope to meet one day, because we biohackers try to find the ways to meet and share some inspirations, ideas. In general, these are some conferences. I don't know where you are presented, where we can meet you, but I would be very happy to meet you once. Thank you for this interview.
Thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Really nice. And I agree, because there is the freedom of every choice in life. And I never think very black and white, like you should be this or you should that.
Yeah, I noticed this, and that's why I love your profile. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think it's important to be happy and to be confident with yourself and do whatever you want, because it's your life and you only have one. My mission is just to show the other side of two ways. And right now, or 4 years ago when I started, I thought there was only just one way of the coin, and now I'm trying to show both sides. I think it's important, but I am a very vain person, as you know, because you follow me. I love fashion, I love my makeup, I love to do my nails. I think it's important to feel good and to be beautiful. I mean, we are women, and everybody is free to do that in their way. And that is also the art of aging unapologetically, of course, to do whatever you want and do whatever is good for you. Yeah,
yes,
I hope to meet you too one
day. It's really
day.
something what I love, that you show to women that they can be visible, you know, that they can, it doesn't mean if they are 40, 50, 60, or even more. It's like you are too old to put your makeup on. You are too old to wear a miniskirt or whatever, you know. If she would like to have it, and if she feels good, let's do it. And you are really, how to say, you are there showing these women everything is possible. So it doesn't mean if you are chronologically aged that you are like invisible in the society. So thank you for this, really.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope to meet you one day. That would be nice. Yeah.
Do you know Betty Winkle?
Yes, of course.
Talk about, yeah, she's doing her own thing, marching to the beat of her own drum, wearing whatever she wants, full of color. I love her. She's in her 90s. I think she's in her 90s, and just amazing. So there, we're getting more of these superstars, and role models, I guess. I mean, some people might think she's ridiculous, but it just shows you the diversity, and that's what we need.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, I get comments from people that say, but it's not realistic. But it's not the point. The point of the portrait and the point of the whole mission is to, you know, to wake someone up, to change. Even if it's like a little thing in society, it will eventually become a wave. And of course, there is portraits of women, and they look ridiculous. I mean, I can look at Betty and think, oh, that's cool. But, you know, I would probably never wear it, or my grandmother wouldn't wear it. But still, she's doing it, and she's creating a vision, a different open-minded vision for other people. And that is what is inspiration about. It doesn't mean you have to copy it full 100%. You just see it and you make it your own, and you know, you do with it whatever you need to do with it. And that is what we are talking about already for an hour. You need inspiration, and it doesn't matter how, but it should be there. And it doesn't have to be there all the time, but it should be there sometimes. And that is important for women over 40, 50, and 60 and 70 to be inspired by something that is not pale, but colorful and hopeful and nice and, you know, feminine and, you know, timeless, ageless.
I agree.
Teach them to help them, sorry, to help them how to learn not to react, not to be attached to negative comments, because society is full of negative comments. People are different kind of. And people are afraid that maybe a neighbor, a relative, a daughter, a mother will say something what will hurt them, you know, and they don't have this strength to do what they want.
Yeah.
And with your profile, I think you are opening these how to say closed windows, and most probably many women, you help many women to change.
Yeah, because lots of women have they feel the boundaries of society, yeah, the rules that we all have to follow, and then you know, most of us get disappointed by following all the rules, and then you turn 50, you hit midlife, and you're like, okay, so what did I do? I followed everyone's dream except my own, and causes a lot of crises, I think, identity crisis, and also emotionally. And that is why there's like midlife rage for lots of us, because we've been following other people's dreams. And I always try to stir things up and, you know, try to wake up people. There was a writer, she's Dutch, and she wrote a book about this subject. It's very interesting. It comes out like next month, and she's sending it to me. About the dream of motherhood and marriage. And lots of women got tricked into marriage and motherhood. And then eventually, you know, they come out in their 40s and have like an empty nest, and then forgot about themselves for like 20 or 25 years. It's pretty scary how we are, you know, pushed into corners, also the outside, but also the inside, by our society. So yeah, lots of things to talk about.
Yeah, society has a lot of pressure, and that's the thing is we succumb very often. Not everyone, but a lot of people succumb to this pressure when we're young, and then, like you said, when we get older, we kind of open our eyes and go, "Wait a second, we can do whatever we want."
Yeah.
And that's what I like you do, is you empower women, and you're changing and disrupting the stereotypes. And I think what Magdalena wanted to say was use the word pioneer. You're a pioneer in this field. So that's we need more like you. But before I let you go, do you have any last message? You've given so many messages, but any last words that you'd like to share for women over 50?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to urge everyone to help me, because, you know, I cannot do it by myself. And I'm not only urging the beautiful people, but also the normal, everyday women that are around us, the neighbors, you know, the mothers, to open up their minds and stop pushing their daughters or other women around them into corners, and, you know, stop telling us to anti-age, and stop telling us to, you know, stop growing up. And be proud of your age, and tell the world how old you are, and just stand for it, because it's wonderful. I mean, if someone tells me like, oh, but I'm turning 50, I'm nowadays, I'm like, you lucky girl, because you're turning 50. I mean, other people die, you know. Just embrace it and show the world that you're proud of it. You don't have to be invisible. So yeah, I have lots of messages, but, you know, help me out, and we can do it together, because I cannot do it by myself. I can only like stir things up a bit.
Oh, that's everybody's job today. help us break these age stereotypes. Say your age. I'm 52. Couldn't wait until I turned 50. I remember being your age when I was 47. I was like, gosh, you know, I'm just building this website and I can't wait until I actually say I'm 50.
Exactly. I'm the same now. Yeah. I started with 42 and now I'm 47. And I'm like, oh, but I want to be like over 50 now. You know, I'm just still like over 40, but I feel more towards the 50. And, you know, I don't want to exclude the whole 40 women group, but I'm proud to turn 50, and I'm happy, and I feel good about it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for the inspiration, the motivation. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for your time. I wish you a really great day. And then hopefully we'll be on again and we'll have another discussion about aging.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And it's always nice to talk about this subject, because, you know, it's my daily job and I'm very passionate about it. But I think that's obvious, right? So thank you.
Thank you.